Hello my friends, and welcome back to yet another Tea Time Talks. I do have my tea here and I am in my robe, all comfy, ready to relax. This is a blueberry hibiscus tea and it is so delicious. I will put a picture here so you guys can try it if you want to check it out. And I do have my tea in a stein. I have a lot of my tea in the stein actually because it's a lot bigger than a normal coffee mug or teacup, so I like to have my tea in a stein. So if you are drinking tea in a stein, or just drinking tea in general, or you have coffee or orange juice, whatever it is, make sure to grab something delicious so we can sip on it together and get into today's topic, which is kind of interesting. So I actually came up with this idea when I was super sick for like 2 weeks. I had to go to an Instacare for a potential kidney infection and I was down for close to 2 weeks. So of course that gave me lots of time to sleep, to dream, to read, and to come up with really interesting theories or revelations on how I live my life. As you guys know, I'm super into embodiment practices and I'm always looking for a new way to see life or to live my life. And when I was super sick, I couldn't even move. I was bedridden for 2 weeks straight. I got this epiphany of how I should be living my life. And as you guys know, I always talk about merging with your future self. And how I believe we merge with our future self is looking at what our future self does, what our future self says, how they act, how they think, what they believe, the habits that they have. And then once we know what our future self or our ideal self looks like, then we can start to implement those things into our life now so we can bring our ideal self to us without having to chase an idea or a life that we want to live. We can start to create it internally and allow our external environment to kind of catch up with us in a way. And I can't remember exactly what triggered this idea, but it was to live life as though you are in your own love story. So let me explain this a little bit more. We can live our lives like it's an actual story. So we know what we want the end of our story to be, right? Like how we want our life to turn out, where we want to get to. It's kind of like our ideal life. But every single thing that we do leading up to that point is creating our next moment as well. And I feel like a lot of us kind of tune out when it comes to awareness or bringing ease and mindfulness into different areas of our life. And so what I was thinking is, imagine if we lived our life as though it was a love story starring ourselves. How you pour your tea in the morning, how you sit in the window and look at the birds, how you write in your dream journal or just journals in general, how you wake up in the morning, how you feel, what you say, how you put on your shoes to go for a walk, if you wear shoes to go on a walk. It's like every single thing that we can do mindfully. And that kind of represents who we are as a person. It's not what you do that kind of determines who you are, but the way that you do it. And so I think we can bring a lot more awareness and love into some of these mundane things that we experience every single day to rewire our brain and to become our ideal self. So I was thinking about it and it's like we are the star of our own movie. Every single person in their own life is the star of that movie. How we talk to other people, how we interact with other people, and how we handle certain situations in our life kind of help us fine-tune who we are. Imagine if your life was being recorded or your life was being written into a book. What would that book look like? How do you want to act in certain situations? How do you want to think? How do you want to show up? And I think that this also helps kind of ground me when maybe I experience something that's upsetting or anything. It's like, how do I want my story to be written about me, right? That's really what helped me think about it. It's like, how do I want this story to be written about me? Imagine if you had a story written about you. Every single thing that you did in your life and how you did it was in this book. You could make it anything that you want to. That's what's so cool about it, that your love story, which is your life, you can make that anything that you want to, because you know the end goal, right? You know how the story ends, which is where you want to get to in your life. But how are you going to get there? What kind of person do you want to be on your way to the end of the story? Like, thinking about this really changed the way that I woke up in the morning, the way that I ate my food, like the way that I got dressed, or even like what I wore. You know, it really helped me bring a lot more intention and awareness into the things that I do. And if I can, I'm not sure if I don't think that I can, but I did record my revelation that I had on this whole story. I actually sent it over to my friend right after I had it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just thought of this. This is super, super crazy. Let me know what you think. Kind of like just this huge revelation, like, oh my gosh, I figured out a new breakthrough of how I can show up or how I can merge with my ideal self. So if I do have that recording, I will put it here so you can hear about it. And then if it's not there, then I couldn't find it. So we create our own luck. We create our own story. We create everything that we experience in life based on the energy we are living in. And so what we need to do is be the main character in our story, in our life. And it's like creating our own movie, our own love story of us and how we found us. So it's like this movie, and you know the end of the movie. You know the end of the story, how it ends, like where you're gonna be, because you can feel it in your heart where you want to be, you know. But it's how you get there that creates the love story, that creates the movie. And everything you do in your life is full of intention. Everything, the way you drink your coffee, the way you write in your notebook, the way you wake up, the way you look at yourself in the mirror. Like, that's what creates the movie, the love story. And if you're living in that space, if you're romanticizing your life, your connection with yourself, every single thing that you do and how you do it and why you do it, you will just see more of that love story of you reflected back at you in everything, because you're looking through the world with rose-colored glasses, and you're falling in love with like how the leaves fall to the ground, how the birds chirp outside, like how the steam is like rising up from your cup of tea or coffee in the morning. Everything has its own love story. Everything has its own meaning, because it's like part of this whole movie of you and how you found you and how you fell in love with you and how you learned to see with those rose-colored glasses on. That's just so cool. So live in your own movie. Oh my god. It just makes me feel so good, because it's like nothing outside of me can have an effect on me, like inside of me, like my own love story, my own movie that I'm creating. I'm the main character in it. And so I never need to be like doing all of these courses that I think I need to do, or doing all of these things in my business that I think I should do, but I get to choose what I do, how I do it, and the result that it brings me, because I create the movie. I create the love story. I know how the story ends, you know? And so I just create the script that I desire to experience, and it could be something that no one's ever heard or seen before, but that's what makes my movie magical. That's what makes my love story my love story. But I just wanted to share it with you guys, because it just really helped me think about how I kind of treat myself and how I move throughout my life, because so many of us are so focused on the end goal that we don't realize that this is still a part of our life. These are days, these are months, these are years that are going by that are being potentially wasted or overlooked because we have that end goal in mind and we kind of black out everything else on our way to get there. So it's really knowing that every single thing that you do in your life, every single thing is helping get you closer to the person that you want to be. And thinking of your life as a love story starring you not only gives a lot of power back to yourself, but it also shows you that life can be like a painting. You know, life really does start off as a blank canvas, and it's not just the end goal. We can't just skip to the end goal in the painting, right? Every single stroke matters. Every color matters. How we blend the colors matters. How we layer the painting matters. And I really started to think of life in that way. And how we can create the painting is how we think, how we handle certain situations, what we spend our time doing, how we take care of ourselves. You know, it's like these little things can also be symbolic for the types of brushes that we use or the kinds of colors that we use. It's kind of the same thing. So I hope that I'm kind of explaining this in a way that makes sense, but I think it gives a lot more just play and fun to life when we think of it like that. And also allows us to know that we are the creator of our story, of our reality. And we might not think what we think matters or what we say to others or what we say to ourselves, but that is part of the programming that we put into ourselves. But also the choices that we make today are going to influence the choices that we make tomorrow. Imagine if we all stayed the same all the time and we never tried to grow or we never did anything different. Our life would be predictable. Our story would be predictable. But if you can do something different today than how you did it yesterday, then that is also how we can reprogram our brain to become different, to show up in the way that we really want to show up. So start to kind of romanticize your life and your own place in your life. And it's actually a very beautiful thing because it's like every single moment counts. Even how we look out the window or what we think about when we're painting or how we turn the pages in our book, every single thing can be so beautiful, and we can bring so much ease into all of these different areas of our life. And I haven't really heard people talk about this too much, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about it and see what you thought. I hope that I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense. I really hope that I was able to find that clip, because that will really show you guys what I mean, because I those are from like when I actually got this idea or this revelation, and so I think those voice messages would be super powerful. So I hope I hope that that I was able to find them. But I would love to hear what you guys think about this, and I might make another video explaining more of what I mean, or maybe the steps to take to kind of do this. But it's really just seeing the value in every single thing that you do and knowing that how you do that thing is going to determine the person that you become. So how would my ideal self act in this situation? You can just bring that in. It's like people saying, what would Jesus do? But what would my ideal self do? And I've said that to a couple clients before, because it's true. It's like, what would my ideal self do in this situation? How would I drink my tea? How would I cook my food? How would I eat my food? How would I get dressed? How would I talk to others? And it's kind of the same idea that I told you guys about living life as though you are dreaming. Because when we're in a lucid dream, we see everything as us. Every single thing that we say, everything that we do, all of the dream characters that we come in contact with, it matters, right? And so if we see life that way, we're learning to see the interconnectedness between us and everything, and it also influences how we show up in all of these different areas of our life. And just one choice, if you just make a new choice today, then that really does impact who you become tomorrow. And this is how we can quantum shift as well, by studying the person that we want to be, where they live, the habits that they have, how we talk, how we think, what we believe. If we can really look at that, even write it on a paper if you can, all the qualities of your ideal self, and if we can implement a little bit of that every single day, you'll look back and be like, wow, I have changed so much, right? And it also just, again, brings in more awareness into everything you do, because sometimes we can get like a lot of us live unconsciously through a lot of areas of our life. So it's all about bringing more awareness to those times, and it almost increases the time that we have to live and experience, because all of the times that we would have just blacked out, checked out, went on autopilot and not remembered, we now gain that time back to make it a magical experience, regardless of what it is. Like, even your first cup of tea in the morning could be the best part of your day because of what was going through your mind when you were drinking the tea, the way that the warmth feels on your hands when you're drinking the tea, the sip and just feeling like the warmth of the tea going down your throat and warming your body. Like, maybe the weather was perfect as you're drinking your tea and you're just so in the moment. You're training your brain to do that in more situations when you take the time to do that for yourself. So things that people may have seen as mundane, that's their belief, that's a story. I feel like every single part of our experience does matter. And even the most extravagant, crazy experiences we have in life, we could make the really small, precious moments just as valuable if we brought as much awareness to them as we do to huge, big, memorable moments in our life. We can learn to make every moment memorable. How can you do that today? How can you make this cup of tea super memorable for you? How can you make this moment in your life a little bit more magical? How can you live your life as though you are in a love story with yourself? How can you treat yourself like you are in a love story with yourself? I thought this was a really amazing concept, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Definitely leave your experiences down in the comments, and I would love to chat with you. I haven't even drank too much of this tea, but I would definitely be enjoying this tea. It is so like blueberry-y and so good. If you know me, you know that I love blueberries, so I'm very happy with this tea. So I'm gonna go enjoy that. I'm also gonna go make some pizza because that sounds really good, and I'm gonna do it mindfully and magically, because how I make this pizza today is gonna determine how I make my next future pizzas. Yep. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for joining in this video. Please let me know if you have any questions or there's anything that you want to share. Make sure to leave it down in the comments below. If you like the content I create on this channel and you want to be a part of the Dream Fam, then make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any content that's coming up. And then, of course, if you have any questions on how you and I can work together, I do offer one-on-one mentorships, classes, online courses, masterclasses, all of that good stuff. And you can find all of the links for that in the description. Thanks so much, guys, for joining this video. And as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.